Well, excited for this week. Good to kind of get the guys away a little bit from the bye week, improve on some of the things that we felt like we needed to improve at, and then let the guys go and kind of clear their mind for what is a 3-game stretch here, 1 week at a time. So saw the guys this morning. We had meetings, good energy, got a good workout in, and ready to attack the next 3 weeks.
Just what was the main focus of the bye week, and how can you get Zevi back to being, himself?
Yeah, I think one Zevi is a little banged up. So Zevi didn't go on Tuesday, Wednesday of the week just to try to he was in meetings and stuff and did very little just to try to get his body back underneath of him. That was the case with a lot of guys. Sometimes the best thing isn't to practice; it's to try to make sure that they're healthy for game time. So there's many guys that were somewhat limited or held out, just the nature of the beast of the season and trying to keep people as healthy as possible. But overall, every position group had a focus of individual things that they needed to improve on. And we worked at in Indy, and then we worked at some in team settings in a controlled environment so we don't risk the chance of injuring anybody else.
Do you think Zevi will be able to play on Saturday?
Who's that?
Zevi.
Zevi's playing. Yeah, he's fine.
You guys, this is like probably skewed by the Apple Cup. You guys are a -40 in the fourth quarter this year. What, in your mind, are some of those like common denominators in the fourth quarter, and how can you guys get that turned around?
I don't think we've been very good in the second half, so the fourth quarter is a part of that, obviously. But we need to come out of half better with a different level of focus. Just in regards to the last game, we came out and we had 5 punts, and overall, maintaining your focus through 4 quarters, being able to finish a game like how we did versus Toledo was important and was good to see. And when you can do those things, there's things to lean back on and say we have done that, right? We just got to be more consistent. And so that will be our approach, is constantly stressing the importance of the consistency in which we need to continue to operate by. When we have success, there it is. There's the proof. And we've shown that we can compete against anybody. We've shown that we can be consistent at certain things inside of games. And just because we try to correct one thing, it can't let the other thing then slip. Okay, it could be running the ball. If we start to improve running the ball, we can't get worse at pass blocking, right? So just growing as a team, and honestly the last 3 games trying to attack this thing full force and finish out the season the right way.
Coach, how would you characterize the team's confidence level right now?
The team is good. Yeah, the team's a little banged up, but overall getting bodies back, I think this team has been resilient about how they've gone about their approach, because we don't really talk about the record ever. We try to just focus on what we can control, and we got a tough game versus Louisiana Tech. That's a really good football team that has a ton of weapons, a ton of speed on the perimeter, one of the best receiving tight ends that we've probably faced this year. I know they may be banged up at quarterback, what it looks like. We'll see how that shakes on their end. But they're going to be explosive on offense, so we got to bring our A game. And then defensively, I think they got a lot of team speed and are really physical. So we need to be confident going into this, and I'm excited for the preparation of this week to prepare for what is going to be a tough opponent.
Does having so many guys on the team that have played a lot of college football, kind of experience the ups and the downs, help with that, being able to shake off a negative week, not get too high after a positive week, and kind of stay level? Yeah,
I think so. And I also think when you showcase in segments that you can do things really well, regardless of who you're playing, we just need to pull it together. And we need to be consistent. We can't kill ourselves with penalties or pre-snap penalties. And when we've been able to get into the flow of a game and not hurt ourselves, we've had success. So, yeah, it definitely helps. I think it helps the youth of every football team. And when you have a little bit more veteran leadership that has played more football, that can speak to being present to the younger portion of the team that maybe hasn't played, or those guys that are self-servicing, that this could be them. The future of this football team's in our younger group. It's the same in every program. So I think it's really important to grow collectively and not forget the lessons that you learn from season to season. That's how you have sustainability and sustained success over years, is that those that are in the program experiences wins and losses, and you got to be able to keep your focus at that. I've been at a place where we had sustained success, but part of that stemmed from failure. And it was a group of those that had experienced that failure that kind of pushed us further than what we have ever done before, because they didn't take it the moment for granted. So that's kind of the focus right now, is be present. Let's lock in. We got a really tough matchup this week that we need to bring our A game, and we need to win every play, win the moment, win the response. And so I think there was many games to learn from of that this past weekend, just how games played out.
And Coach, I got a few for you. Can you just talk about how you have led your team to regroup entering this bye week?
A little bit of breather. This is a long season, a lot of guys banged up, trying to allow them to get away from football a little bit. We typically would go on a Thursday. I didn't think it was worth going on Thursday as much as I felt like it was worth them just getting a little bit of a breather so that they can come back with the right enthusiasm and attack today's practice and what we're going to get out of this week. Overall, our players have done a really good job at taking the coaching and wanting to grow and wanting to get better, and we need to take that ownership of our failures in every way, coaches included, and then press on and try to do better than what we did in the past.
Something that you've touched on a few times, talk about the importance of finishing out these games and the emphasis you've had on that message during the bye week.
Yeah, I think, it's important because we still got 3 games left in the season. We still can be bowl eligible. And for the future of this program, these seniors and these guys that are playing their last game, we owe it to them to play as much football as we possibly can. There's a lot of players that have put a whole lot of work and preparation into their just overall career, but have put it in here into the overall experience of what the future can be, and it has a lot to do with the continued success going into next season as well.
And then the last one from me, talk about how excited you are to get back on the field, play at home, and how you want your team to respond this week.
Well, obviously I want to win, but I would say play with the right energy, focus for 60 minutes in the game. Don't let one mistake lead to another mistake. Be better up front in certain pass blocking situations, and make the right decision offensively, and continuously taking strides defensively. I think defensively you've been able to see the response week in and week out of how our guys handle some adversity, and they don't hang their head. I think we need to continue to grow like that as a team and take momentum and run with it when we get it. And there's several games this past weekend that you could see the power of momentum, and we need to capitalize when it goes our way. And we need to make sure that if we start to feel momentum slipping, that we just take a deep breath and not make, uncommon errors because we're trying to do things that are outside of our actual responsibility.
What did you make of Trevor Mandell's performance against Oregon State, and kind of what was the idea or the plan rotating him and AJ there at right guard?
Yeah, AJ's been banged up, and he's been given everything he has. So to try to give him a breather so his technique doesn't slip, I think naturally the harder you go in a game and the longer you're out there and then you're dinged up on top of that, it can lead to errors that maybe you don't even realize that you're doing. You're just trying to, win the role, win the rep, and at times just trying to give some movement in there just because of what could have happened, right? Brock Dew ended up getting hurt on the, I think, 13th play of the game. But I thought Trevor, for a young guy, went in there and didn't look wide-eyed. He missed one of the twists that came free, and I think some of that he's a true freshman, right? You can teach things all you want, but until you fail or see things at really game speed, I think it's hard to replicate at practice. And he could tell you what he messed up on, which is a win. It's just like him feeling it. Offensive line is really a technical position that, although there's some things schematically that you have to work through and talk about and talk with as far as a whole line, it comes down to first step, hand placement, pad level, physicality, and experience. And he just doesn't have any. He's a true freshman that's going to be a really solid player for us, though.
Is that something, a rotation you're going to use again this week, or is it just going to be back to AJ now that he's maybe had a week to kind of clean up some of the bumps and bruises?
Well, yeah, we're going to see how this week's practice goes. AJ's feeling better. Dunham obviously is getting healthy, and we're going to have Brock back, assuming we have Brock back. He's going to go through practice, see how everything feels. We may get Christian Hillborn back. He's going to go through practice and see how he progresses through the week. So getting those two guys back will definitely help our depth in the inside because it will allow potentially Johnny to move back to guard.
Did this a couple weeks ago, just kind of run down a couple of the injured guys, kind of just get an update. Just start with Leo. Notice he left in that Oregon State game.
Yeah, we'll see on Leo this week. He's going to be limited somewhat in practice. I think he's done a really good job at rehab. He stayed here this whole weekend in rehab, so I'm hoping that he is back and he's able to go.
Notice Leighton didn't even make the trek. I did see him down there.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak too much on Leighton. Leighton had a family emergency, and I think it was more important for him to be with his family.
Is he going to be back with the team this week, though?
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
And then you mentioned Christian, but Jalen Caldwell?
Jalen's going to be out.
On defense, Caden?
As of right now, he's out, but there's hopes that we may see some of him next week.
And then saw Ram suited, but obviously didn't play.
Yeah, we're trying to limit Ram because he really wasn't ready. We do expect him to play this week.
Mike?
Still going to be out.
And then I guess back on offense, Hudson.
Expected to return. We got to see how he looks this week.
I was going to add to that. I guess it depends on if Leo is able to play, but I'm wondering about the importance that you guys place on getting him in the running back rotation and kind of what he can give you on the ground.
Well, it's just the way things have worked. For you guys, you look at who goes out and who carries the ball first. For me, it's more about who's going to take the amount of reps in a game. Not everybody gets to start based off openers and the first personnel that runs out on the field. But, yeah, we made that switch. Leo was in the starting lineup. It was with him and Kirby. And he's continuously gotten more bulk of reps than both Maxwell and Angel. And I don't know if it's a lack of what those other guys doing or more so when Leo has gotten his opportunities, made plays with it. And so those guys need to get rewarded. If I'm going to claim the best players play, those things happen. That happened. Leo just got hurt. So I'm hoping to get him back. And at the end of the day, he's got to be healthy and he's got to go out there and play physical and do what he does best. And he's going to be taking hits on his shoulder. So he's got to feel like he can protect himself as well. But, yeah, I'm proud of Leo. He's taken a huge jump, not just in work ethic, just his overall showing of desire to do things right consistently. I mean, in a bye week where I let the guys go home for the weekend, most players kind of want to go see their family. And for him to take it upon himself to want to stay here and go through rehab and make this a priority, it says a lot. It shows his improvement just as a teammate.
The sheer amount of injuries you guys have experienced this year.
Never experienced this much in my life.
I was going to ask if you've dealt with something similar.
No, it's unique, and it's just kind of how you handle it. But I think the preaching of next man up, the next man up mentality, I know that's so cliche, but if we don't all look at our preparation seriously, like I could get in the game, you're leaving something to chance in some sense. So to take it all serious and to be locked into the details of how things are done, regardless of you potentially getting 1 rep to 50 reps, it all matters. And for the most part, I don't think there's been, especially on defense, when we've had guys hurt, the next guy steps up. There's a certain level of energy and focus that goes into it and spirit in which you believe in yourself at too, right? You can't walk into a game and not believe in yourself and expect to have success. So I've been proud of some of the guys that have stepped into additional reps or bigger roles because, they put in a lot of work. And we need to just stay healthy the rest of the way because I don't know how many more injuries we can maintain and still be competitive.
Is there any way to prevent those, like in the weight room or anything like that, or is it just kind of freak injuries that just keep popping up?
Well, some of these are ankle sprains, foot things, knee things. If these were soft tissue injuries, I may say yes. But contact injuries due to football, you go out there and it's a violent game, and it kind of is what it is. Some guys getting rolled up, like I don't know if that's something that comes from the weight room. So yeah, so unfortunate, but at the same time we have to deal with it, and it's how we respond. And it's the next guy up that believes that he can go out and do it, and it's his teammates' job to make sure that they pump that belief inside those players who step on the field.
Is there a silver lining you can almost take? I mean, obviously you don't want guys hurt, but the fact that, you're looking at guys like Trevor and Kyle Martin and Noah and then, Donovan and just kind of down the list of guys who are getting maybe these snaps and this experience that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten if you guys were perfectly healthy?
Yeah, I always try to look at things like for what it is and then try to find the silver lining in it. And I think the silver lining is these guys are getting reps that will impact their future. And I think reps are huge as far as the development of a player, not just at practice, but inside of games, to understand what experience looks like and understand the moment so that they're not entering their first plays the first game of the season or their first start versus, quote unquote, a bigger team in a bigger environment. I think it's really important that everybody grows daily and weekly and tries to continuously improve. These guys are just getting an opportunity due to the injuries, and they got to make the most of them while they can.
Have you had any conversations with Max Balloon just about the possibility of coming back next year?
Yeah, Max will be back.